Hi, my name's Jed. I'm a first-year PhD student, and I work in synthetic organic chemistry here at University of Queensland. Just going to walk you through some of the basic instrumentation and what I know about it. So this is a UV-vis spectrophotometer, and what it does is it measures the absorption of a certain compound by passing light through it and then looking at its emission. So using UV-vis, we can characterize certain compounds based on electronic transitions. So you can see things in organic compounds like double bonds or aromatic groups, or with inorganic compounds you can see the electron absorption for certain kind of colors that are characteristic in metal compounds. All right, so this is our set of analytical balances. Whenever you're doing chemistry, you're going to need to know how much of a compound you're using to use it in a reaction. So we have particularly fine balances that are mounted on this concrete slab. They're mounted on a concrete slab so that the kind of fine perturbations you get with movement doesn't affect your measurement. Like, so I don't know if it's going to work too well, but if you take this and shake it, oh, you can see the balance jumps all over the place.
Weighing balances?
You can get kind of fine movement through the building. It's not really like construction downstairs, but usually upstairs as well. If you have things moving around or moving around on weight supports, then it'll subtly shift where the balance sits. Since they're very fine balances and they weigh down to under milligrams, so 1/10 of a milligram. Any movement will shift that weight and shift the center of the balance. So you need to have them set. So this is a standard setup for a thing called a reflux. So what it essentially is boiling a mixture of your chemical, only it's got a thing called a reflux condenser over the top. So this, which is filled with some kind of coolant like water, so that you can boil it down the bottom, have your solvent, which is the liquid it's suspended in, come up and then cool down and drop back down. So it allows us to perform heating reactions for long periods of time. So if you wanted to make aspirin, you would get a thing called salicylic acid, and you would mix it with vinegar and acetic anhydride, and you would boil it together. And you'd need to set that up in a reflux so you could acetylate and make aspirin out of acetyl salicylic acid.
And you reflux it so that you don't lose your solvent?
Yes, so the solvent stays within the system and allows you to continue heating it without having the solvent boil off.
Beyond the point where the solvent...
Yeah, not necessarily beyond the point of the solvent boiling, but it allows you to heat it so that the solvent doesn't escape. Just like if you had water and you boil it, if you keep boiling it, it'll boil dry, like if you have it in a pot. The working through of it, so you have to sit there and study and make sure you know conversions between units and what so how to measure things, how to make sure you have the right stuff, concentrations of solutions, but that's all like lab practice, so those are things that you can learn. The thing that mostly stops people is whether they get scared or something in lab. So if they see a problem and it seems to be just kind of intractable or hard to get over, then they just stop and they don't want to do chemistry anymore. They don't want to work hard at it anymore. But that's the kind of thing you need to get over. You need to have a relaxed time, have a fun time when you're doing it, and carry on and it'll be fine.